There's been rumblings about a new Transformers collaborative G.I. Joe mashup coming soon, so I threw a thumbnail together and I tossed it out to the community to see what everybody else thinks about it. Let's get into it. So a little over a week ago, right around Christmas time, a new rumor started making the rounds about a new Transformers collaborative G.I. Joe mashup offering that might be coming out soon. This rumor was sent to me by my buddy Lawrence from A Punk with Toys YouTube channel. If you haven't checked him out, please do so. Link's going to be in the description. Really awesome channel. And I started looking at this and thinking, it doesn't really wow me. But I wanted to know what other people thought. So I figured I'd chuck together a little thumbnail and throw it out to the community on Facebook and see what other people thought about it. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. All right, so over here we have the thumbnail that I came up with. The rumor is supposedly Soundwave Thunder Machine. Sounds a little weird. And apparently, if the rumors are correct, the O-ring figures, not figure, but figures that are going to be offered with this are Zartan and Zorana, along with Ravage. I don't necessarily have a problem with Zartan and or Zorana because Thunder Machine, Thrasher, Dreadnoks, but why not Thrasher? Is he not popular enough for people? I don't know. But that's the rumor. And so I just put the post out on December 28th. What are your thoughts on the new Transformers Joe collaborative rumors? Okay. Well, we're just going to take a look at some of the replies. My buddy Brian says, I need it. And Pendragon Designs says, I only like my Soundwave when he's an 80s mini cassette Walkman. Okay. I can see that. George Aiken says, I wish it was just the G.I. Joe version. I can totally understand that. There's a lot of people that don't have a Thunder Machine now that would really like one. I mean, re-releasing the Thunder Machine, just a retro Thunder Machine as is, like they just released the retro Stinger. I don't see a problem with that. The Thunder Machine's a great vehicle. Now, this comment really caught my attention. Walter McLeod says, Soundwave should be a Cobra surveillance port and his mini companion should be the computer monitors. Why in the world would he be the Thunder Machine? That idea is so brilliant. I can see why Hasbro didn't think of that. Soundwave as a surveillance port. You get Soundwave, you get a new surveillance port. I just think that's a brilliant idea. Rob McCallum, Mr. McZob himself, says it's a must-have. Mark says yes. Steven says only if they have Thrasher as the figure and not Zartan. Okay, there you go. Travis Moody. Seems fun, but will eventually be discounted like the others. And then I had to kind of stick it in and break it off and say, like all those 6-inch peg warmers. Classified's got a lot of peg warmers. Matthew LaCroix says, I love Soundwave, but think they should have used a Decepticon that already converts to a vehicle mode. Boombox, robot, and car is a bit much. I don't think that it would be a triple changer, but I see Matthew's point. And then Gallus Quigley says, anything 1/18 scale at this point is exciting. Now, that is an opinion that a lot of 1/18 scale or 3 3/4, 4-inch collectors have been emulating lately, is that Hasbro's not showing a lot of love to the 1/18 scale, which to me is a misstep. It's a huge misstep. My buddy John Earl says, I'm down. I love Soundwave. Odd to use the Thunder Machine, as mentioned earlier. Maybe use him for a mini surveillance base or a bunker. There's so much potential with these. Warpath or Blitzwing as a tank. Yeah, I could definitely see a Warpath. And then it's basically just a lot of that. And then Corey says they would call him Thunderwave, kind of like Bumble Striker or Mega Hiss. And then Zazel Phoenix from Sergeant Slaughter Slaughterhouse says, I love it. I'm not locked in on Soundwave needing to be a tape deck. That's actually a good point. They are robots in disguise. They shouldn't be one and done alt modes. I love this and I want it. Yeah, that's actually a very measured response. And, that's a good way of putting it. Patrick Seagraves, as much as I'd love to jump in on this line, I cannot go back to reproductions of poorly articulated, crappy proportioned figures. Okay, so Patrick's saying that he doesn't actually like the O-ring figures, that he'd rather have modern construction figures. I actually agree. The only O-ring figures that I have are figures that come with vehicles or play sets, but I mostly collect modern 4-inch Joes and Joy Toy and Marauder Gun Runners and things like that. I think that the O-ring construction suited its purpose in the 80s, but action figure technology has evolved. And then Travis asked if it's been confirmed, and no, it's just a rumor. My buddy Gaz says, cool. Go Figure says, seems like an odd combination. I can agree with that. My buddy Nick Boozle says the Transformer crossovers really aren't my bag, which, totally cool. Steve McClure says, I can dig it. These are two of my favorite toys as a kid and an adult. I just hope they don't turn the Dreadnoks into cassettes. I'm pretty sure they're not going to do that. My friend David says, depends for me. Don't get me wrong, Joes and Transformers were my childhood, but Hasbro has shrunk the size of the Transformers. The last few deluxe didn't scale with my other deluxes. For some damn reason, they want to use O-ring figures, so strike two, then add the higher price point, and these don't even tempt me. So again, there's somebody else talking about how O-ring figures really don't do it for them. And that's okay, right? We all have our own opinions on that. John Hansen says, still think the Cobra Surveillance port would be better for Soundwave. Dead End would be better for this, in my opinion. See? That's another vote for Soundwave being a surveillance port. I think that was a brilliant idea. And then Steven says, I hope it goes over better than when they crossed over with Star Wars. So far, the first two offerings are. Go Figure says, a bit surprised they didn't go with the Hound Vamp. Yeah, I was surprised they didn't go with a Hound Vamp when they went with the Bumblebee Awestriker or the Bumble Striker. The Hound Vamp is kind of a no-brainer. And there's Lawrence right there. I couldn't care less how he looks as the Thunder Machine, as I have my childhood one. Both Megatron and Bumblebee look awesome in robot mode, so I assume he will equally look great attacking something Joe as a robot. Fair enough. I don't really know how he'll look as a Thunder Machine. I don't know what the Thunder Machine's going to look like in Soundwave colors with all the silver and chrome. I mean, he's got the blue, he's got the gold, he's got a little bit of red, but he's not predominantly red and blue with black. So we'd have to wait and see what that looks like if the rumors are true. Sean says, in theory, I like it. It depends on execution, though. That's a really good point. Execution's everything. Well, there you have it. Opinions kind of all over the place. That's to be expected. If this rumor is true about a Soundwave Thunder Machine, we're just going to have to wait and see what it looks like. I have to agree with a lot of people that execution's everything. I'm not really jazzed about O-ring figures, but it seems to be what we're going to get these days. And I can just stick with Marauder Gun Runners and Joy Toy and other companies to get my 4-inch modern construction figures. If Hasbro doesn't want to do it anymore, and obviously Hiya Toys seems to be dragging their heels when it comes to getting their 4-inch modern construction G.I. Joe figures out of the gate. But we'll just wait and see if this rumor's true, what it's going to look like, and we'll just go from there. Have an awesome day, and remember, knowing is half the battle.